Welcome to the news. To present it, I'm Clement Mwanza. The headlines. Holders of 3 Eurobonds amounting to $3 billion have rejected Zambia's request for suspension of interest payments. A commission of inquiry to investigate the privatization of national assets to be instituted. The locals in Sanford district are in a celebratory mood as they once again prepare for an abundance of fish in rivers and lakes. Patson Daka, the Zambia national team striker, grabbed a brace to send Austrian Bundesliga champions Red Bull Salzburg to the UEFA Champions League group stages. And now the news in detail. Holders of 3 Eurobonds amounting to $3 billion have rejected Zambia's request for suspension of interest payments for 6 months. The decision to decline Zambia's request is based on alleged absence of clarity on some issues bordering on rising debt, transparency, and fair treatment among creditor classes. The bondholders have further observed that Finance Minister Dr. Walangandu's proposed 2021 national budget deviates Zambia from the path of debt sustainability. This is according to a statement issued by new state partners who have been appointed as financial advisors by the bondholders. Meanwhile, Yusuf Dodia, an economist, has told Loyola News that the bondholders' rejection is expected because the bonds were given and issued to private investors who are in no position to renegotiate, unlike governments.
I do believe that now, rather than complaining about what we did in the past, we need to look at the present, what we can do now, and what we can do in the future to resolve this outstanding challenge to our economy. So export earnings, around $8 billion per year, translates to $22 million a day in export earnings. Surely that kind of money, as an economy, can be very useful in building the economy and paying back the bonds.
And Trevor Hambai, a financial analyst, says the government should have acquired an agreement from the International Monetary Fund before engaging the bondholders. Mr. Hambai says government's proposal to freeze payments positioned the bondholders to question the capacity to repay their debts.
For those of us who were on the outside, is something that we could see coming. There are a number of factors that contributed to this, and the bondholders did actually raise this. And the first one was obviously the fact that they'll be questioning the position of the country in terms of where would we be in 6 months and where would the resources to pay for the interest in 6 months come from. As a precursor to this, we had the budget. And the budget in itself showed that we are unable to pay for the bonds until we come through with the interest payments. And I think that was an issue.
A commission of inquiry to investigate the privatization of national assets is to be instituted. This follows numerous calls by Zambians who want to know exactly what transpired when mines, government assets, and other properties underwent privatization. President Edgar Lungu gave the green light at State House, saying the topic has been on people's minds for a long time and needs to be put to rest. Mr. Lungu received a petition from a group of students and civil society organizations on behalf of 40,000 petitioners.
Having heard the voices which have been across the country, north, south, east and west, throughout the country, I'll take time to reflect on this matter and I'll make a few consultations, because what you have given me is a petition of signatures without giving me terms of reference. So I'll have to sit with those who are well versed with the matter, privatization, historically, and those who are very versed with the law, to tell me what will be the terms of reference for the commission, and also then we move in accordance with what law provides. I think it's a matter of time.
Earlier, Evelyn Horn College Students' Union President Namwaka Malama said most Zambians feel betrayed by those who had been given the task to conduct the privatization of national assets. Those who presented the petition include students from the University of Zambia, UNZA, the Copperbelt University, CBU, National Institute for Public Administration, NIPA, and civil society organizations.
I firmly stand before you to move the motion to call for this important inquiry. It is timely, Mr. President. It is noble. It is significant. Mr. President, the timeliness in our call as citizens of Zambia to set up a commission cannot be overemphasized. It is the moment of truth, and we are asking you to help the nation face the truth. For decades now, the discourse around the manner in which our national assets were handled keeps coming up each and every time.
Locals in Samfya district are in a celebratory mood as they once again prepare for an abundance of fish in rivers and lakes. Their celebrations and feasting occasionally takes place after as long as a decade. This is when their wager gods release their migratory insects, locally known as ubumfuku. Swarming from between the swamps and marshy waters of Chilubi and Lunga Islands near Kumboya-Lulambe, these tiny mosquito-like insects emerge in millions covering the entire sky. They cause an eclipse of their own as they fly over and land on the waters of Lake Bangweulu to the jubilation of fish, which flag off the week of feasting before they land in the people's pots. This is the time when natives near the lake go out to each other saying Samfiempoto, the famous phrase from which Samfya got its name from. Nsama Kiens is Care for Nature Zambia Executive Director who spoke to Loyola News about the rare phenomenon.
These are insects flying around. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Wow. Wow. People are running around. And this, they are saying there will be too much fish now. This is what they are saying. Too much, that there will be too much fish.
We're very worried because we thought these insects could be as harmful as the red locusts, which have broken out in the western and southern parts of the country. But after speaking to the local people, they were actually celebrating. There was jubilation because for them, this is a time that they actually even praise their ancestors for remembering them and giving them a season of plenty fish. When these insects start their migration, which lasts about 2 to 3 days, they fall on the lake and provide a rich protein for the fish, and this makes the fish come to the surface. Even those that are deep in schools, they still come to the surface, and this makes it very easy for the fishermen to catch the fish. So actually the people were saying they even remember the time when this area got its name because the fishermen used to come out calling Sanfiempoto, meaning clean your pot, I'm coming with plenty of fish. And that is how the area got its name, Sanfia.
The opposition Patriots for Economic Progress says the clarifications by the Electoral Commission of Zambia on both the online voter pre-registration and the issuance of new voters' roll as sound and valid. Sean Tembo, the Patriots for Economic Progress leader, says insinuations that rural voters will be disfranchised because they do not have smartphones nor internet connection is a mistaken belief based on unsound arguments. Mr. Tembo says the online voter pre-registration process is not final and is also optional. He has told Loyola News in Lusaka that his fellow political leaders who label the electoral process as rigged to show proof, failure to which they must be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for alarming the nation.
As Patriots for Economic Progress, we have noted the various concerns that have been raised by fellow opposition political parties with regard to the ongoing preparations for the 2021 general elections by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. I think the two main issues is the issue of the online voter pre-registration as well as the issue of the new voters' roll. And our take on this is that we believe the new voters' roll would be more credible than updating the 2011 law, because clearly within the last 10 years, a lot of people might have died and others might have shifted. With regard to the online voter registration, the Electoral Commission of Zambia has clarified this issue that online voter pre-registration is not final and that people still need to go to registration points for them to register as voters. And our view is that these explanations are reasonable by ECZ, and every reasonable person should be able to understand these explanations. And we find it regrettable that some leaders have continued to disparage the Commission and thereby try to undermine the credibility of the next year's general elections, which in our view is very regrettable because it has potential to bring about anarchy in this country. Thank you.
But Elizabeth Chitika, the New Hope Movement for Multi-Party Democracy National Secretary, says her party only wants to see transparency in all processes to be conducted by the Electoral Commission of Zambia.
We as the MMD, what we are condemning, or our concerns are basically that indeed the ECZ lacks transparency. For the MMD, whenever ECZ has done something, in the best interest of all the stakeholders, we have always commended them. But this time, what we are saying is that they lack transparency. Why are we saying that? The ECZ have always consulted the stakeholders, before. But in the past, what we have only seen is a situation where the ECZ keeps pronouncing or announcing measures which they have taken without consulting the stakeholders. And that is what we are finding very unusual about the way the ECZ are carrying.
We take a break, and still to come, the Kalumbila District Council in Northwestern Province has been suspended for hosting members of a political party. The lack of reading books and other materials written by local writers has put authors in jeopardy. Stay tuned.
As frontliners in the battlefield, we choose to rise above COVID-19. Yes, we choose to fight and to rise above discrimination and not to succumb to fear. We are now alert, and together as one, we are ready to raise our strides of hope. Death might be knocking at the front door, but no mountain is too high, no river too wide, no storm too fierce. Our pain will strengthen us. Fear will drive our faith. Tiende pamozi na mtima umozi. Atwende antomwe amoyomwe. I stayed at work for you. Stay at home for me and be safe. Be that change.
Please, do your best to stay at home. If you must leave your home, please remember to mask up. Keep social distancing of at least 1 meter and wash your hands often with soap and running water or any alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Stay out my way. I'm going to play football with my friends, and there's nothing you can...
Silence! You think this is funny, eh? You can get the deadly coronavirus.
The gorilla virus?
No, the coronavirus. Do you know what will happen when you do? Do you?
Huh? What will happen?
You will bring the coronavirus home and then infect everyone. Mommy will be sick, no more jollof rice.
Huh?
Daddy will be sick, no more going out to see movies.
Oh no! Not the movies, no!
Even worse, the government will come and take Mommy and Daddy away.
You're just making it up.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
See for yourself.
Okay, it's real. It's real. What should we do?
The coronavirus is out there. We should stay at home for now. Always wash our hands with soap and water so we can prevent it from spreading.
Boo! Stay home, stay safe from all of us at Ant Hill Studios.
We continue with the news. The Kalumbila District Council in Northwestern Province has been suspended for politicking governmental developmental projects. The Kalumbila Council is chaired by the opposition UPND. Members of the political party are said to have inspected government development projects, claiming they were UPND projects when in fact not. Charles Banda, the local government minister, said the councillors at the local authority displayed high levels of misconduct. Mr. Banda announced the 90-day suspension slapped on Kalumbila Council at a press briefing in Lusaka.
Dear colleagues, the action taken by some councillors to invite their political leaders for inspection of government projects in Kalumbila district tends to politicize the process of service delivery and needs to be censured. In so doing, there will be an equal platform in community participation, which is the yardstick of decentralization that is promoted by the Patriotic Front government. I need not to overemphasize that this action was illegal and will not be tolerated by the Patriotic Front government. If you don't take action now, it means everybody else will follow suit. There will be lawlessness, and people will always be misinforming the public. In view of the foregoing, colleagues, I now invoke the provisions of Section 56B of the Local Government Act No. 2 of 2019 to suspend Kalumbila Town Council forthwith, and hence all councillors will not perform their functions of the council for an initial period of 90 days. Other processes will follow, and we shall be informed accordingly.
The Healthcare Foundation has reiterated the need to provide exceptional medical attention to the elderly people. Peter Musonda, a clinical officer, says the elder citizens need more care, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic period. He was speaking when the AIDS Healthcare Foundation celebrated the International Day of Older Persons at Chawama Home of the Aged. The foundation took a team of medical personnel to provide free healthcare checkups to the residents of Chawama Home of the Aged, and assorted food items and hampers were also donated to the elders at the center.
You know, the regular checkups that we are talking about our parents is to ensure that we actually do the BP, the blood pressure checkup. If the blood pressure is okay, then we'll be assured that the parent is actually doing fine. If it's not okay, then we have to intervene as clinicians. We have to ensure that we check the weight. A parent who is losing weight, then will be able to know that there's something that is not going on well in the body. Okay? And then we have to do some malaria tests. If we discover that they have malaria, we treat them as quickly as possible. Okay? All these actually interventions will actually improve their lifestyle. Okay? And then when we improve the lifestyle, then you'll be able to see them up to more than 100 years and so on and so forth. And they will be able to smile. Okay? A smile can only come if we actually do what I've talked about, and of course we improve on the nutritional status of our parents. Okay?
The Institute of Hospitality in the tourism sector says reforms need to be undertaken in order to capture good norms and behaviors amidst the coronavirus pandemic. Rogers Kazembe, the Zambia Institute of Hospitality chairperson, says retraining of personnel to follow the COVID-19 guidelines is key to the sector reopens under the new normal. Mr. Kazembe has also welcomed the stimulus package that the government will make available to the hospitality sector. He was speaking in an interview with Loyola News in Lusaka.
A lot of Zambia's business in tourism, about 70%, is dependent on to foreign. Our marketing has been tilted more onto foreign. And most of the lodges and hotels that deal with foreign tourists or business people who come to take up the hospitality services, they didn't come. And so those enterprises or hotels, lodges, game camps, they closed. So basically now what we are looking at is the recovery program. There has to be retrained. Retraining is the key now because the old is gone. Now we are in the new normal. We have staff need to be trained how to handle customer within the new normal, including the clients. They will need to be assured that when they come out here, are they safe to go to such a place?
The lack of reading books and other materials written by local writers has put most authors in jeopardy because their materials only end up on shelves. Concept Developers Initiative, an organization that promotes writers in Zambia, is concerned that most writers may lose interest in authoring books and other related works because of the poor reading culture. Gift Piri, the Concept Developers Initiative president, was speaking in an interview with Loyola News in Lusaka. Meanwhile, Martin Sichilima, who has just authored his first book, Tears of an African Child, says support should be given to writers because they can document a lot of the happenings in Zambia for posterity.
Well, the reading culture in Zambia is a bit tricky because young people, most of them are exposed to books that are written in English. Now imagine if all the books that are written are translated in different local languages. You find that young people be interested in reading. There are some young people that don't know how to speak English, but they know how to speak their mother tongue. So if books are translated in local languages, we can have young people that will get to read more of Zambian books. We want authors to take writing as a career such that they can earn a living, they can make ends meet, support their families through writing, like it is done internationally. So we want to see the future change, and the writing sector, trust me, there's a lot of resources which the government can benefit from, and the society as well. So we are hoping for a better tomorrow in terms of the writing.
We know that Zambia, to be specific in Africa, there's that tendency of having a poor reading culture. But now things tend to have more like changed, a lot of people are trying to be, rather they're getting more interested in knowing what the minds of young people here in Zambia are trying to offer on the table where reading culture is concerned. So the support has been kind of improving as at now. People are trying to getting to know like what is really happening in the writing industry where books and publishing is concerned, yes.
We take a break, and coming up, the World Health Organization's Regional Director for Africa says allegations that aid workers sexually abuse women while tackling an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo are heartbreaking. Nigeria has developed a COVID-19 test kit that can give results in less than 40 minutes and does not need extensive training to use. These and many other stories coming up. Stay with us.
Habib, where do you think you're going?
Stay out of my way. I'm going to play football with my friends, and there's nothing you can...
Silence! You think this is funny, eh? You can get the deadly coronavirus.
The gorilla virus?
No, the coronavirus. Do you know what will happen when you do? Do you?
Huh? What will happen?
You will bring the coronavirus home and then infect everyone. Mommy will be sick, no more jollof rice.
Huh?
Daddy will be sick, no more going out to see movies.
Oh no! Not the movies, no!
Even worse, the government will come and take Mommy and Daddy away.
You're just making it up.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
See for yourself.
Okay, it's real. It's real. What should we do?
The coronavirus is out there. We should stay at home for now. Always wash our hands with soap and water so we can prevent it from spreading.
Boo! Stay home, stay safe from all of us at Ant Hill Studios.
Every day, the death toll rises and hope decreases. Zambia, what should we do? Lysol spray has become perfume. Hand sanitizer has become hand lotion. The news has become the gospel. Everyone scrambles to find the cure, but the cure is within us, ourselves as Zambians. We need to stand up and fight this coronavirus so that Zambia is coronavirus free. You stay home for me, and I'll stay at work for you. This is my Zambia, your Zambia, and our Zambia. It will only take you and me to stand up and fight this coronavirus. For this is the price and promise of citizenship. For love should lead, and love is everything. May God bless Zambia and the rest of the world. Please do your best to stay at home. If you must leave your home, please remember to mask up. Keep social distancing of at least 1 meter and wash your hands often with soap and running water or any alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Loyola News is available for sponsorship. Contact us on telephone number 290912, mobile number +260 978 990980. Email us on loyolanewsroom@gmail.com or visit our offices on 6 Green Lane, Kablonga, Lusaka. In international news, the World Health Organization's Regional Director for Africa, Matshidiso Moti, has said allegations that aid workers sexually abuse women while tackling an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo are heartbreaking. Dr. Moti said she will ensure timely, fair and transparent investigation and that those found to have been involved will face serious consequences. A year-long investigation by 2 agencies revealed that aid workers who identified themselves as WHO staff sexually abused women in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The New Humanitarian and the Thomson Reuters Foundation spoke to 50 local women who were allegedly plied with drinks, ambushed in hospitals, forced to have sex, and 2 became pregnant. The allegations cover the period between 2018 and March this year. Nigeria has developed a COVID-19 test kit that can give results in less than 40 minutes and does not need extensive training to use. Health Minister Olorinimbe Mamora said it was much faster and 10 times cheaper than the PCR testing method currently being used. The kit is yet to be approved by regulatory bodies but has raised hopes of boosting the country's low testing rate. Nigeria has been importing key elements needed for coronavirus testing. The authorities say the test kit, known as SARS-CoV-2 isothermal molecular assay, was developed by Nigeria's Institute of Medical Research. The head of Nigeria's COVID-19 response task force, Boss Mustafa, told a media briefing that the kit was Nigeria's contribution to the global fight against the pandemic through scientific research. The health authorities say the test kits will be distributed soon to communities after a validation process to boost testing across the country. Nigeria has so far tested just over 500,000 people out of its population of around 200 million. Sudanese women played a pivotal role in ousting former President Omar al-Bashir in 2019. As Sudan's transitional government moves towards democracy for the first time in decades, women are again playing a key role in seeking justice and equality. Here is the Voice of America from Khartoum.
Sudanese women played a prominent role organizing the protests that ousted former President Omar al-Bashir in 2019, after 30 years in power. Since then, women are playing a prominent role in the transitional government. A woman has been appointed as Chief Justice, the first, not only in Sudan, but in the entire Arab world. An unprecedented 4 women were appointed to cabinet positions in the new government, including the country's first female Minister of Foreign Affairs, Asma Muhammad Abdullah. But women are still marching to amend the laws and restore the rights taken from them under the strict Islamic code enforced by Bashir's government. The Sudanese Professionals Association, or SPA, was one of the key groups behind the protests that led to Bashir's ouster. Samahir al-Mubarak, who heads the SPA's Pharmacists Association, remains active in politics.
I've never felt that we've reached a level where we should stop. So the motivation that powered people to overthrow the Bashir regime is the same motivation that is pushing people to continue to reach the revolution's goals of freedom, peace, and justice.
The June 3, 2019 crackdown on pro-democracy protesters in Khartoum left more than 120 people dead, including the eldest son of Amir Qaboos. His death didn't deter Qaboos from being involved, and she's now the deputy chief of an organization of people who lost relatives in the uprising.
What we are doing is the continuance of the martyrs' role and their sacrifices. We didn't reach our goals yet. We didn't see the freedom, peace, and justice the martyrs demanded. We will continue until we achieve all of the revolution's goals that our children sacrificed for, and to restore the rights, till we see Sudan the way our children dreamt about, and we all are dreaming about.
Qaboos and al-Mubarak were recently awarded the 2020 Freedom House Award for their role in advancing democratic change in Sudan. The award was under the theme of the power of protest. Naba Muhiddin for VOA News, Khartoum.
The East African Court of Justice has dismissed a case which challenged the Constitution Amendment Bill removing the age limit to contest in the presidency in Uganda. This means President Yoweri Museveni is allowed to stand for re-election. Ugandan lawyer Male Mabirizi had petitioned the country's Supreme Court, which upheld the amendment, after which he took matters to the regional court. The change in the constitution removed the requirement for anyone wishing to stand for presidency to be aged between 35 and 75 years. Mr. Mabirizi had also challenged the process by which the law was passed by Parliament in 2017, which was marred by punch-ups on the floor of the House and an invasion by the military special forces. The regional court in Arusha, Tanzania, has ruled that the process through which the bill was passed did not violate the East African Community Treaty. If the court had ruled in favor of the petitioner, it would have left President Museveni's candidature for the 2021 elections in the balance. The Vatican has denied U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo an audience with Pope Francis. The Holy See say the pontiff does not receive politicians during an election period. The move adds to a diplomatic row following comments by Mr. Pompeo about China and the Catholic Church. The Vatican accused Mr. Pompeo of trying to use that issue to attract voters in November's U.S. presidential elections. In an article earlier this month, Mr. Pompeo said the Catholic Church was risking its moral authority by renewing an agreement with China regarding the appointment of bishops. Donald Trump received support from conservative religious movements, including conservative Catholic voters, some of whom think Pope Francis is too liberal. Human rights groups say many Catholics in China are persecuted and driven underground for pledging allegiance to the Pope instead of an official Chinese Catholic association. Despite this, in 2018, the Vatican made a deal with China to have some say over the appointment of Chinese bishops. At the time, Pope Francis said he hoped the deal will allow the wounds of the past to be overcome and bring about full Catholic unity in China. The Cambodian government has allocated $1.2 billion to bolster an economy struggling with the withdrawal of some European trade peaks and the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Voice of America has the details.
Under its everything but arms policy, the European Union grants tariff-free access to goods from developing countries that meet international standards on democracy. But a ban preventing the main opposition party from contesting the 2018 election upset the EU, Cambodia's largest export market, prompting the withdrawal of some trade preferences in mid-August, costing business an initial $130 million. The Garment Manufacturers Association says the EU erred by withdrawing preferences amid the COVID-19 pandemic, which has devastated the economy. Hardest hit is the $7 billion garment industry, which employs about 700,000 workers who each earn around $190 a month, producing for big brands like Levi Strauss and Adidas. Peng Kasal has worked at Hunhua, Cambodia for the last 6 years. She says losses from the EBA policy are having a dreadful impact on business amid layoffs, lost overtime and reduced hours.
Now I am begging for the government's help because of this issue. I'm also in debt with the banks and finance institutions, which is why I'm desperately seeking help.
Her sentiments were echoed by Sao Chen, who works at the Mendar factory. He says overall earnings were down 20%, while his colleagues have been laid off for 4 to 6 months.
The main problem we are facing today is some workers are the only breadwinners, feeding an entire family at home. Sometimes their monthly income is only $100 to $200, and they spend everything on rent, food, kids' school, and there are many more costs.
The Garment Manufacturers Association says 450 factories have suspended work and another 83 have closed, affecting about 150,000 workers. It says this could push millions of Cambodians back into poverty. Brands can move to another country if economic or political conditions change, as many Western businessmen and non-governmental organisations did after the elections. Their workers, however, cannot. The Coalition of Cambodian Apparel Workers Democratic Union say they are worried by a lack of orders and a fear that big-name brands will start sourcing their garments from other countries.
I think the party need to work together to maintain and to keep this benefit for the country and especially for the workers.
But the plight of workers remains uncertain, and that is unlikely to change amid lost trade and the pandemic. Luke Hunt for VOA News, Phnom Penh, Cambodia.
The first presidential debate between President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden resembled more of a shouting match than a structured exchange of ideas. Debate organizers say they are working on changes to ensure a more productive discussion for the candidates' next encounter, but analysts say the chaotic outcome of their first meeting is also a reflection of the country's deep political polarization. The Voice of America has the details.
Social media exploded with memes during the first presidential debate between President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden, with many viewers characterizing it as childish and as old men yelling at each other.
This is a left-wing problem. This is radical left. Will you shut up, man?
There were plenty of personal insults.
There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing.
Listen, you're the worst president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
The kinds of things that we saw last night in the debate are exactly the kinds of things that erode democracy, that in fact our democracy is at risk. And you can tell by the way that political leaders talk to one another.
Discussions about the pandemic, economic recovery, and racial unrest were drowned out by insults and interruptions, and shocking moments such as when the president refused to denounce white supremacists.
Who would you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
Our street! Our street! Our street!
Proud Boys, a far-right group that engages in political violence, celebrated the president's remarks and created online memes with his answer. On Wednesday, Trump said he does not know who they are.
Over 200,000 dead, 14 million jobs lost, and Donald Trump spent an entire debate blaming others.
The Biden campaign launched a post-debate digital ad blitz highlighting Trump's remarks, while the Trump campaign claimed that the moderator and the media treated Trump unfairly in the debate and that Biden is weak.
Joe Biden, who was put on his heels most of the time, spent a lot of time looking around for assistance from the moderator and sort of looking around for someone to bail him out.
Initial polls show that the chaotic debate did little to sway voters.
It was very disappointing for American democracy and the country as a whole. It was embarrassing, to be honest with you.
As campaigning enters its final weeks, both campaigns are trying to find voters they can still win over in the key swing states seen as most likely to affect the results. The remaining 2 presidential debates and 1 vice presidential debate are scheduled in October. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News.
A Japanese man has pleaded guilty to murdering 9 people after contacting them on Twitter in a high-profile case that has shocked the country. Dubbed the Twitter killer, Takahiro Shiraishi was arrested in 2017 after body parts were found in his flat. He told a court in Tokyo on Wednesday that the allegations against him are all correct, but his lawyers argue that his charges should be reduced because his victims apparently gave consent to be killed. If convicted of murder, Mr. Shiraishi faces the death penalty, which is carried out by hanging in Japan. The court has attracted wide interest, with more than 600 people lining up for 13 public gallery seats to watch the first hearing. And in sports news, Patson Daka, the Zambian national team striker, grabbed a brace to send Austrian Bundesliga champions Red Bull Salzburg to the UEFA Champions League group stages in a 3-1 win against Israeli side Maccabi Tel Aviv. Salzburg came into the match with a 2-1 aggregate lead from their first leg and was looking for a draw to guarantee qualification. Daka put the hosts in the lead 16 minutes into the first half, with the first-time finish within the area after some good work from Koita before Edan Kazev put Maccabi level in the 30th minute. And Enoch Mwepu, another of the Chipolopolo midfielder, came close twice, first with a header at the near post from a corner and then a shot from inside the box, which both went wide of the mark. With the match looking like going to the break level, Masaya Okugawa was stripped in the box
feelings.
and Dominic
I'm happy that the dream has come true.
Szoboszlai made no mistake from the penalty spot, putting the ball in the upper left corner. Maccabi were stronger after the break and looked to break Salzburg's defense, but Daka put the match beyond their reach when he headed in a pinpoint cross from Albert Vauci in the 68th minute.
Very great feelings. I'm happy that the dream has come true. We have been waiting for this moment, and I'm just happy that we have shown good character today. We've shown good mentality. We've played as a team like always, and we show that we really wanted it so much. And yeah, it's a very emotional night, a very memorable night for us. Well, in this moment, I think we have played, yeah, like you said, Liverpool, Napoli. I think it would be a good experience to meet the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, those. I think it would be a great experience for us, and yeah, just keeping our fingers crossed to see what or who our opponents will be tomorrow.
To end the news, a look at the main stories once again. Holders of 3 Eurobonds amounting to $3 billion have rejected Zambia's request for suspension of interest payments for 6 months. The decision to decline Zambia's request is based on alleged absence of clarity on some issues bordering on rising debt, transparency and fair treatment among creditor classes. The bondholders further observed that Finance Minister Dr. Walangandu's proposed 2021 national budget deviates Zambia from the path of debt sustainability. A commission of inquiry to investigate the privatization of national assets is to be instituted. This follows numerous calls by Zambians who want to know exactly what transpired when mines, government assets and other properties were privatized. President Edgar Lungu gave the green light at State House, saying the topic has been on people's minds for a long time and needs to be put to rest. The locals in Sanfia district are in a celebratory mood as they once again prepare for an abundance of fish in rivers and lakes. The celebrations and feasting occasionally takes place for as long as a decade. This is when their wager gods release their migratory insects, locally known as ubufunku. Patson Daka, the Zambia national team striker, grabbed a brace to send Austrian Bundesliga champions Red Bull Salzburg to the UEFA Champions League group stages in a 3-1 victory against Israeli side Maccabi Tel Aviv. Salzburg came into the match with a 2-1 aggregate lead from the first leg and was only looking for a draw to guarantee qualification to the next stage. That ends the news. On behalf of the entire production crew and the news writing crew, my name is Clement Mwanza. Good night and God bless.